Hey everybody, my name is Philip Shepard and I'm a local real estate agent here in Northwest Arkansas. And today we're going to be talking about something really cool that I find fascinating about Northwest Arkansas. And that's the fact that Northwest Arkansas isn't always about the outdoors. It's not always about biking. It's not about kayaking all the time. It's not about just being outside, which are all true and used all the time because that's a big part of the area here. But there's a huge architectural design community based right here in Northwest Arkansas. So Northwest Arkansas houses some of the most exquisite, most well-designed, architecturally superb buildings in the area. And so today we're going to be talking about some of the ones that I find the most amazing that have won awards, that are just groundbreaking and really push the boundaries of architecture and design across the world. So let's jump into it and find what some of those designs are. So the first design that we're going to be talking about, the first building, is actually called Theatresquared. Now in previous videos, I've talked about Theatresquared because inside Theatresquared, they house all sorts of wonderful events, whether it's plays, Hamilton is coming down to Northwest Arkansas to be performed there. There's symphonies, there's all sorts of really cool theater productions that happen in Theatresquared that happen all year long. And so this year, Theatresquared was actually awarded the top tier International Architecture Awards for museums and cultural buildings. And I'll link all this stuff down below as well. So Theatresquared won a massive award for being the best museum and cultural center in all of the world. So right here in Northwest Arkansas, we have a top tier International Architectural Award for a museum and cultural center, and that is Theatresquared. So go to the link below, look at that. It's an amazing place to go to, and if you get a chance, definitely when you're coming down to Northwest Arkansas to check it out, definitely make sure to get tickets to see one of the performances there. It's wild, it's amazing, I love it. Speaking of Theatresquared, if you're looking to take a trip to NWA to check it out, I made a 3-day itinerary linked below if you want to grab it. And what it kind of does is it kind of spells out all the great things to do in NWA when you come down here for a visit. And so Theatresquared is on one of those stopping points when you're down here. So if you're a foodie, if you're into culture, if you're into arts, if you're into sports or adventure, or if you're into sightseeing, definitely download that link below and all the itineraries will be there for you. If you have kids, there's an itinerary for you as well. And so when you get down here, definitely give me a call and we can check out some homes, check out some apartments, and I can give you the $10 tour. And the second design we're going to be talking about is actually called Ozark Co-Op. So Ozark Co-Op last year won an award for being one of the best interior designed places in all of America. Now, if you're not familiar with the Ozark Co-Op, it's a really awesome place where you can go to and have international foods. It's a grocery store. It's a place to hang out. Oftentimes you'll find your friends there. You'll meet people. It's kind of like this co-op meetup and just a very interesting place to get groceries and hang out. And they serve all sorts of fun, cool things there that, if you want to work there, if you want to eat there, it's all available for you to do right in the co-op. So one of the amazing things about a co-op, if you're not familiar with what a co-op is, especially the Ozark Co-op, is the fact that they try to source everything within the grocery store, like from local places. So they have a lot of international foods as well, but if it's a local food you're looking for, something grown in Arkansas area, like the Midwest, they're going to actually source directly from people in Arkansas. So everything's locally sourced. They know exactly where it's coming from. And they have a strict standard of ethics that you can read on their website that if anything that's being sold there, it meets those standards. So the Ozark Co-op is a great place to go find food, to go to the grocery store, to hang out and enjoy with friends. But also when you're in there, definitely take a look around because it is designed so well that the American Interior Design Society actually awarded them just a great award for being so proactive and thoughtful of the way they designed their grocery store. And the third place we're going to be talking about is actually called the Momentary. Now in past videos, I've talked about the Momentary for different reasons. And those other reasons were that they have amazing arts, it's a cultural center, they have great food and drink, it's a great place to hang out. And also they have performances like live bands all the time. But the really cool thing about the Momentary, besides the art and architecture, which we will talk about, is the fact that they have this bluegrass festival every single year. And it's an amazing time for friends and family to go out and hear just amazing bands and, get tickets and enjoy the whole festivities of a weekend. Now, going back to the architecture of the Momentary, it's a really interesting design because the Momentary is kind of in the hub, the center of Bentonville, Arkansas. And one of the fun things about that is that actually before it was the Momentary and before it was a cultural center, it was actually a cheese factory of all things. And so what happened was that, about 10 years ago, the Crystal Bridges opened, and so the Walton family invested into Crystal Bridges and developed that up. And at the same time, they bought this, retired cheese factory, And they decided to make that kind of a sidestep, like a kind of an attachment to Crystal Bridges. And the fun thing with the Crystal Bridges is that there's a lot of art and culture there as well. But at the Momentary, it's an extension of Crystal Bridges in a lot of ways. So oftentimes if you go to the Momentary, there's always things changing in and out. They're always redesigning things. It's a lot of fun because really every time you go to the Momentary, it's brand new. And so that's one of the fun things about that design and place and the whole concept of the Momentary is that it's this ever-changing place of culture, arts, and fun that you can go to and you're never going to see things twice. And speaking of Crystal Bridges, let's talk about that one because that is just a architectural design phenomenon in Northwest Arkansas. So Northwest Arkansas holds one of the best museums in the whole world, and that's Crystal Bridges. It's free for the public to enter, so you don't have to pay anything. Everyone gets in for free. And there's just endless amounts of art and culture and design and things you can learn at the Crystal Bridges. Now, one of the cool things about the Crystal Bridges is that it was architecturally designed, won all sorts of awards for being just out of the box thinking the way it was designed. It's just a really cool, the actual museum itself is a piece of artwork. And so not only going there, you're going to see art, but you're actually going to be living in a piece of artwork. And so the curators there, everyone who works there just takes so much pride into making the space such an amazing experience for people to go to. And I've been to the Crystal Bridges so many times, and every time I go there, it's a brand new experience. And so the people that work there are so passionate in making it just an amazing place. Now, one of the cool things that's happening at Crystal Bridges in 2022 is the fact they're actually almost doubling the size of Crystal Bridges. So new construction is going to be happening early 2022. And then they're going to finish about 2024. So they're just continue to expand Crystal Bridges with more art, more interesting things that go there. So it's going to be a family hub, it's going to be a community hub. And inside Crystal Bridges, there's a really awesome restaurant where you can get nice food and drink and enjoy the whole experience in general. All right, we're on number 5 now. And so the 5th one that is just a fascinating piece of architecture in Northwest Arkansas is Thorncrown Chapel. Now, this is a well-known, world-renowned piece of artwork and architecture known across the world. So the interesting thing with the chapel is the fact that it's considered like an Ozark Gothic. So if you've ever been there, it's kind of like this eerie, very open-esque kind of chapel because there's so many windows. It uses just raw material that kind of bleed in from the outdoors. So one of the things you'll notice about the chapel is the fact that it's built right inside like just a massive tree system. And you don't even, not that you don't notice it, but you kind of don't notice it because it seems like it's just part of the actual environment. So Jim Reed, who is a native to the area and the architect who helped design this, was just so passionate about bringing something into the woods and bringing this natural-esque kind of chapel and designing it from the ground up. And so it's an amazing thing. When you're traveling down to Northwest Arkansas, definitely check it out. And the next one we're going to be talking about is a little bit interesting because it's actually the Fayetteville High School. Now, one of the really cool things about the Fayetteville High School is the fact that just the addition, that 36-month addition, was 500,000 square feet. And so when the architects designed this, it was focused around modernization. They focused around simplicity, and and also they focused on like project-based learning and all this sort of digital classes and digital things that are upcoming in the future. And so when they built that out, they focused completely on that. And so when you go to the high school, you're going to see that it's such an innovative, thoughtful high school because the fact the architects really built it for the future. And so that's what caused it to win so many awards around the area and also nationwide, is because this is just a massive undertaking and it took so long to build is because they really thought it out, and it won so many awards because people came and saw it and like, oh my God, this is amazing. So it was a really thoughtful design and they did a fantastic job designing this high school, and the architects deserve all the awards for that. And lastly, one of the most interesting designs in Northwest Arkansas is Thaden School, or Thaden Reels. So what's interesting about Thaden Reels is just their modern, interesting design and sharp edges. They used all these sort of organic, like solid materials. Metal's a big use in this. And it's so fascinating to watch architects design something that's so useful and also so modern at the same time. And one of the cool things that I love about the Thaden School is the fact that their use of light. And so if you go on and read about Thaden School and their focus on light and where they put light and how they use light and opening up doors and windows and even ceilings at times, just to bring in light into the school system to make it that very organic feel. So one of the interesting things about school systems nowadays is they use a lot of fluorescent kind of interior lighting. And so what Thaden School System tried to do is the fact that they wanted to use more natural lighting. And so that was a big part of the whole idea of Thaden Schools and Reels, was because they wanted to use a very organic material just to be able to design the whole school. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. I appreciate you guys watching. And once again, if you're coming down to the Northwest Arkansas area, go ahead and download that 3-day itinerary in the link below. And if you guys come down here, definitely give me a call, because when you're down here, we can check out some homes, check out some apartments, and see how far your dollar can stretch down here compared to where you're coming from.